Okay, now, of course, there are other sorts of cameras you might use. I think I'm broadcasting the document camera, yeah.
Yes.
You might use a camcorder. And those are still fairly common.
What is that?
Yeah, you know, the market for these has kind of decreased since that's not as good a camera as is in my iPhone. But this one is about 15 years old. Matter of fact, I think Pete bought this one when he was here. Probably looks familiar.
It's going to go to the Smithsonian soon.
Well, it still works, you know. We're using its friend over there right now. Its friend is camera 2. Yeah, there's
the alternative to $30,000 camera.
Exactly, and they're still pretty decent cameras. The older ones, the trick, of course, is getting the video. The way you get video off the camcorder depends on the type of camcorder it is and how new it is. These older ones, this is a tape-based camcorder. It records to mini digital video tape. Let's see, I think I have one here. Little matchbox tapes. And those, getting that video off can be a little bit more challenging than some things we might do. The general connection that you will use to do that on your camera is something called a FireWire or an iLink connection, depending on whether you're dealing with something influenced by Apple or influenced by Sony. The connection, well, I love that camera. Thank you, by the way, to Mesa College for throwing this document camera away in the surplus rush when all the construction took place. It ended up downstairs in the warehouse here, and I got it for free. I got 2 more just like it. So thank you to whoever threw that away. If you know them, let them know, and it was appreciated. But here's a FireWire connection. It'll say FireWire, that's Sony's iLink symbol. It's all the same thing. It's called an IEEE 1394 port, if there's any reason you'd want to know that. And it's a little 4 or 6 pin connector. The cable is fairly easy to recognize. It's called a FireWire cable generally. If you buy it, go to buy it. You can get them for $10 or so. See, I'm looking, I've got one here somewhere. Here's a 6-pin FireWire connector, which I did not have hooked up, and I'll show you. Let's see if we can, yeah. It's got that kind of a trapezoidal connector. That's a so-called 6-pin connector. It's the larger connector. And that will plug, usually this plugs into the back of your computer, into a FireWire port. If your computer, as is quite possible, should not have a FireWire port on it, then you've got to have one in order to pull video off these older tape cameras, or even some of the newer ones have FireWire ports on them as well still. And to get that, you've got some options. If your computer doesn't already have a FireWire port, you can add one. That's a FireWire expansion card. Goes in the expansion bus on your desktop computer. You know, most desktop computers will have this, though this is an older card, so you'd probably have different style connectors down here. But you can certainly get a FireWire card for your computer, for your current desktop computer. It would probably cost you between $15 and $20. It's not a big expense. It's very easy to install. There's no software involved or anything. You just take the case off the computer, plug it into the expansion bus, screw it down, put the case back on, and you're rocking or reboot, or then turn the computer back on, and then you're ready to to accept FireWire from your camera, or video through the FireWire port from your camera.
So Dave, that's for a PC though.
No, it'll work on a Mac. Well, Macs,
Yeah, Macs.
most Macs don't have an expansion bus.
No, they don't. No.
And that can be a problem. Actually, Macs used to come with FireWire ports as
Right.
a general thing.
Not,
You don't see
not
it
anymore.
much
Not the
anymore.
newer ones.
That may be a problem. There's another option. Well, no, this other option won't get you around that.
Could they possibly have a Thunderbolt connector?
No, Thunderbolt and FireWire are two different technologies entirely, unfortunately.
Well, I mean for a converter, since most of the Macs don't have anything for a port
Well, that's
anymore.
true. That's right. There is a FireWire to Thunderbolt computer, isn't there? Or converter, I believe. I do believe you're right. I hadn't thought about that.
What is it? A Thunderbolt?
Yeah, a Thunderbolt. It's a typical port on a Mac.
Yeah, I know they have it because a few of them, since there's no more ports for like printer outlets or anything like that, or
Right.
most
I'm not.
Yeah. HDMI ports.
Yeah. So they have converters for every imaginable thing to Thunderbolt, and you can go to the Apple Store or Amazon and get that. Very good. Thank you. But again, this is an issue only if you have an older camcorder.
Oh, okay.
If you have a laptop, again, a PC laptop probably, with the Mac laptop, it'd probably be the same thing, the Thunderbolt to FireWire converter. We'll look that up and verify that. With a laptop, you can get a PC card. If your laptop has a PC card slot, you can get a PC card that has FireWire capability and just slip that into the slot. Not all new PC laptops have this type of connector anymore either, but many do. So there are options. Another option that you can use is well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So it's possible to get the video off the older cameras with the FireWire connections, even if it's not real convenient in some cases. Thanks, Michael. With modern camcorders, the ones that go out to Best Buy or Fry's and buy right now, let me get back to me here. Most of them will function in one of two ways. Either the camera itself will have a USB port on it, which you can connect to a USB port on your computer, and then you can pull the video off the camera's internal storage, just as if it were on a thumb drive, just like the smartphone. And you can save that file to your file manager and then do what you will with it. More likely, the camera will have a removable memory chip.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can just pop out of the camera and plug into a chip reader on your computer. Most laptops and desktop computers now come with it's usually something called an SD card.
Mhm.
And most computers come with a reader for those cards where you just slip the card in and read it like a thumb drive. It's basically a thumb drive. But it doesn't connect to a USB port. It connects through a specialized reader. If you don't happen to have that kind of slot on your computer, you can buy, usually for $10 or $15, a chip reader that will plug into a USB port, and you can plug your card into that and just copy the video right off the card. So there's generally no problem with getting the video off a modern camcorder. It's trivial.
What's modern? Like how many years back? 1 year, 2 years?
Well, to me, 1980 is reasonably modern.
Okay.
But sorry, couldn't resist that. But no, anything made in the last 5 years or so
5
probably
years. Okay. Thank you.
probably won't even have a FireWire connector on it. It'll have a chip that you can take.
Okay.
And everything's solid. So they probably won't use tape either. It'll just record directly to solid state as a file. And
Right.
the process of pulling video off of an older camera is a little bit more involved than that. I don't want to take the time to go through that right now because I think it's probably something that's going to be relatively unlikely to be relevant to most of you. But if any of you have an older, and this applies to anybody watching this recording later on who might have an older camcorder that they want to get that records to tape or, God forbid, DVDs directly, and they want to get the video off the camcorder and onto their computer so they can upload it to YouTube or edit it and upload it to YouTube or do whatever they wish with it. Please contact us. Katie, would you put our support email address in the chat?
Sure.
Thank you. It's just support@sdccdonline.net, or you can email Katie or I directly. Most of you know our email addresses. But support goes to all of us, so it'll get noticed probably quicker.
What was it again?
Support@sdccdonline, all one word, .net, .net. And that'll come right to us. I see those the minute they come in. So
I've got those email addresses in the chat.
thank you. And again, I'm going to save chat. And if I keep remembering to do that, hopefully at the end we'll have all the chat dialogue to share with you on the recording. So anybody watching now, watching later, are welcome to contact us, and we'll help you with that. We still have enough of this older equipment. We have to do it all the time, so we're fairly current on that. All right. Any questions about using your own camcorder to capture video and get it onto your computer?